The San Francisco 49ers entered Monday's game wanting to make an absolute statement. And how do you make a statement? How about an 83-yard touchdown run by Matt Breda on the first offensive play of the game? Check it out. Now, the 49ers had to wait 2 weeks to play this game, and the whole time they had to sit around listening to all this criticism about how they haven't played anybody yet, etc. So they wanted to come out with a bang. Let's take a look at the blocking and see how they did it. Now, right before the snap, we see Juszczyk here making a move to his right. In fact, the entire offensive line and Breda are all going to move in that direction. And you can see all the Browns defenders start flowing in that direction as well. Once they get everyone flowing that way, both Juszczyk and Breda cut back to their left. Juszczyk and George Kittle are in a perfect position to block the last two defenders over on that side, leaving Breda one-on-one with the safety. Now, for a lot of running backs in the NFL, this would already be a big gain, but not all of them necessarily have the speed to outrun a safety. But Matt Breda does. His nickname is Cheetah, and he was clocked at 22.3 miles per hour on this play. All right, they kick the extra point and go up 7-0. Now let's take a look at Cleveland's next play to see how they respond. I want you to notice up at the top of the screen, Richard Sherman is in excellent position against Jarvis Landry. But Mayfield decides to throw him the ball anyway. Richard Sherman intercepts the pass. Now, why would Baker Mayfield do that? Well, let's go back to the snap and take a look. Okay, Cleveland lines up with the center, 2 guards, 2 tackles, and a running back. But at the last second there, you see Demetrius Harris run into the play. They're going to try to block Nick Bosa one-on-one with a tight end. Well, what's the left tackle doing? He's going to be double-teaming DeForest Buckner. The running back can't help on the play because he's running a route. And this spells disaster for Cleveland. Harris is immediately beaten on the play. Mayfield tries to throw it over Sherman, but he's throwing off his back foot as he's getting hit by Bosa, and the pass is picked off. Okay, before we take a look at the 49ers' next offensive play, we're going to go back and take a look at a play they ran in Week 2. Now, if you've watched my videos, we've talked about the fact that the 49ers fake these sweeps over and over and over again. And the idea is if you can get the defense to focus on the sweep, it can open up a pass pattern down the field. Well, if you do this often enough, it can make it really hard for the defense to stay disciplined because you fake it, 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 and then one time you hand it off. And if the defense isn't ready for it, it burns them. Here, George Kittle goes around the end and gets a first down for the 49ers. Let's go back to the snap. Okay, check out number 53. That's the middle linebacker, Joe Schobert. And you can see he's completely frozen there, watching to see if Garoppolo actually hands the ball off or not. And then by the time Kittle goes by, it's already too late. Now, in the next play, the Cleveland defense would adjust. But, as you might suspect, Shanahan is already one step ahead of them. Again, San Francisco sends a man in motion, indicating that they might run a sweep. But this time you can see the safety for the Cleveland defense, Murray, pointing and getting the rest of his team in position to meet that threat. But just when it looks like Cleveland is going to string this play out and stop it for a loss, at the last second, San Francisco reverses the play to Marquise Goodwin, one of their fastest players, who takes it all the way for a first down. Wow. Now we're going to take a look again from the overhead shot because it's a great angle to see how the entire Cleveland defense reacts to the sweep. They don't want to get burned again. The result, of course, is that the defenders are out of position to defend the other half of the field, and Goodwin just has green grass in front of him. Cleveland's fortunate that this play didn't go for a touchdown here. I'm going to show you one more thing about this play, and that is when the play cuts back to the other side, check out the quarterback Garoppolo, bad knee and all, ready to run some interference for Marquise Goodwin here, and the defender just punches Garoppolo right in the face and gets away with it. Watch this. Look at that. What's up with that? Well, too bad for Cleveland. It didn't change the result of the play or the drive. In fact, let's go ahead and take a look at the last play on the drive. Okay, George Kittle is going to run an up and out to the corner, and he is such a threat that he simply must be double teamed by the Cleveland defense. This will leave Matt Breda one-on-one against the rookie linebacker, Mack Wilson. Now here you see Breda give him just a little move to the outside so that when Wilson goes in that direction, Breda can cut back into the end zone for a touchdown. The throw by Garoppolo is right on target, and Breda catches it. Touchdown 49ers. Okay, here you see Breda making his move. The linebacker goes with him, and then Breda just cuts back and changes direction, and the ball is right there. All right, the score is 14-3, so let's move ahead to the second quarter. All right, despite heavy pressure, Garoppolo gets the football to Kittle, who gets a first down. Now, if this play looks familiar, it might be because we discussed it in Week 1 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Here you see George Kittle cutting across the formation in much the same way. And the observation we made on that play was that when the linebacker has to change directions, he's already beaten. And that's not just any linebacker, that's Shaq Barrett. But let's go back to the Cleveland game. Garoppolo motions Juszczyk over to the right side of the formation, and this looks like a running play. Now, in order to sell the run, the left tackle, Jeff School, isn't going to block the man directly in front of him. Instead, he's going to flow to the right with the rest of his offensive linemen. And some of the Cleveland defenders bit on the fake, but not all of them. These two defenders on the left decide that they're going to just attack the backside of the play, and as a result, it looks like they might end up having a free shot at Jimmy Garoppolo. But at the last second, you see Kittle cutting across just in the nick of time. And just like we talked about with Shaq Barrett, once the linebacker has to change directions, he's already beaten on the play. And Garoppolo just makes a terrific pass with pressure right in his face. Unfortunately, there's a little hiccup with the camera here, so we can't really see it. So we're going to take one more look again from this angle so you can see with the guy's right in his face. Garoppolo just gets rid of that football, gets the ball to Kittle, who gets a first down. Very impressive. And again, what makes San Francisco so hard to defend is, they fake the run, they fake the run, they fake the run, and then this time they finally hand it off, and everyone's waiting for the pass, and Coleman just picks his way through the blocking all the way for a 19-yard touchdown with 2 minutes to go in the half. And when we take a look again from this angle, I want you to notice that they kind of do the same thing. The entire offensive line for the 49ers flows to their left, with the exception of Mike McGlinchey, who blocks the defensive end. Now again, notice the middle linebacker on the play, Schobert here. He's hesitating, waiting to see what the 49ers are going to do because they fake it so much you just don't know. The 49ers do hand the ball off to Coleman, who takes it around that end, and just again watch the middle linebacker on this play because he ends up being too late to prevent the touchdown. He who hesitates is lost. Okay, we're in the third quarter now, and the 49ers are facing a big third down backed up on their own 10-yard line, and Garoppolo throws this ball way across the field, and look at the location of that football. It is as far away as physically possible from the defender. The pass is complete to Marquise Goodwin for a 16-yard gain. Let's go back to the snap. Now you might wonder, could the defender have maybe broken on that ball or tried to anticipate that out route a little bit? Well, let's take a look, and we're going to talk about the pros and cons of that. Now, the one thing we've talked about with Marquise Goodwin in our previous videos is the number one priority for a defender is don't get beat deep. And here we see the ball is still in Garoppolo's hands, and if the defender tries to anticipate Goodwin running the out, Goodwin will simply run right by him for a long touchdown. So the defender does his job. He plays it safe here. He gives up the completion, doesn't get beat on the play. Okay, Here the 49ers are going to run another running play. Now, like before, the entire offensive line is going to flow to their left. And these two wide receivers up top are going to block. The running back will cut in behind them as before and pick his way through the blocking. And the Cleveland defense reacts pretty strongly to this, including Jermaine Whitehead. And that's unfortunate for Cleveland because this isn't a running play. It's a fake. The 49ers are going to throw a pass, and that means these two wide receivers are matched up one-on-one against these two safeties. The receiver in green is Marquise Goodwin, and what do you do when you're defending Marquise Goodwin? You don't get beat deep. The safety backpedals aggressively on the play, allowing Goodwin to run down to about the 50 and curl in and catch a pass. What do you do? What do you do if you're a defense and you're trying to defend against all these fakes? We're going to take another look at Whitehead, and I want you to watch him on this play because these fakes are so good. These guys are falling down out on the field. It's crazy. This is what Shanahan does so successfully. These defenses are really good, and so he exploits how good they are. It's kind of a strange thing, and here the 49ers execute another run fake. Now Garoppolo turns around to fake the handoff. There you see the ball in his hand. Here you see the strong reaction for the Cleveland defense. Everybody's coming up to stop the run, and that allows Kendrick Bourne to run a square in the middle of the field. Great separation from Bourne there. Fights for some extra yardage here, and it's a first down for the 49ers. Now, remember, Cleveland sent all those defenders to stop the run, so you're going to have to pick some of them up in pass protection. I want you to watch the running back on this play. Boom, he just takes that guy out, and then look at the separation that Kendrick Bourne has, and he goes down to get the football. That is a great route and a great catch by Kendrick Bourne, and we saw a lot of these sort of effort plays all night by the 49ers, fighting for every yard they could get. All right, they're down to the 25-yard line or just outside of it, and now the 49ers want to put the nail in the coffin. This is the infamous play where Shanahan told Joe Staley before the ball was even snapped that it was going to be a touchdown. And it was. Garoppolo gets the ball over the linebacker right into the chest of George Kittle, who just kind of puts his hand out and says, really? How can it be this easy? Well, let's go back and take a look at everything. Okay, the 49ers send a couple of guys in motion here, and you'll notice that a few of the Cleveland defenders shift around a little bit. No defender is crossing from one side of the formation to the other to pick them up. This gives you a pretty good clue that it's not a man-to-man defense, it's probably a zone defense. I believe this was the point in the play where Shanahan told Staley that this was going to be a touchdown. George Kittle is just going to run a fly to the end zone here. Now, if you're Cleveland, how do you defend this if you're running a zone? Well, it's going to be the responsibility of the middle linebacker to carry George Kittle through his zone and then hand him off to the next defender who can carry Kittle through his zone, like this. Now, even if this is executed perfectly, it's going to be hard for these guys to defend Kittle, essentially one-on-one. And of course, the defense did not execute perfectly. In fact, it's not executed very well. The linebacker doesn't carry Kittle especially deep, and then there's absolutely no handoff to the other defender. He's just sitting there like a statue, and Kittle is just streaking behind everyone, wide open to the end zone. You can't have that. Now, how did Shanahan know that they weren't going to execute that properly? Well, who can say? But it probably comes out a lot of film study and a lot of preparation by the coaches. I included this next play because I wanted to show how versatile Kyle Juszczyk is. Here, he fakes like he's going to block, and then he simply turns around and catches a pass. Also notice Garoppolo looking off the defense with his eyes. Juszczyk is so versatile because he can block, he can catch passes, he can run the football, and losing him is going to be a big loss for the 49ers. But he's only out 4 to 6 weeks, and the Niners have adjusted really well to not having Staley or Ahkello Witherspoon out there. So I have total confidence in Shanahan that he'll be able to, get these guys ready to play. The score is 28-3 here. They're about to kick a field goal and go up 31-3, and the blowout is on. So we're just going to look at one last play. And it's a simple slant pattern to Dante Pettis here. Garoppolo puts the football right on him, and he drops it. Oh, that might have been a touchdown. Now, we all know from the Steelers game that Dante Pettis has all the talent necessary to become an explosive breakout star wide receiver for the 49ers. We just need to see a little more consistency out of him. Well, there you have it. After all the talk, after all the sitting around, after hearing all the criticism and saying that somehow 3-0 still wasn't good enough, the 49ers come out and make a huge statement on Monday Night Football in front of everybody. Now, they have a real tough matchup against the Rams coming up, and the 49ers only have 6 days of rest to prepare for that game. And the Rams are coming off of a Thursday night game. They have 10 days to prepare, and the game is in L.A. And the 49ers don't have Kyle Juszczyk or Joe Staley or Ahkello Witherspoon for that matter. So if the 49ers win that game, I'm kind of thinking the haters will pretty much have no excuses. I want to give a quick shout out to Russo. He does some great 49ers highlights. He made a highlight of this game. I'll include the link in the description so you guys can check it out. Hit that like, and I want to say thank you to all my new subscribers. You guys are really awesome.